OMG Cakes and Desserts. I am so excited. I put on my website, actually my Facebook page, that I asked people what they would want me to make, and my cousin Pam from Durham, North Carolina said that she wanted me to make a lemon pound cake. So today I'm going to make a lemon pound cake so that Pam will have this recipe, but not only will Pam have this recipe, you all will have this recipe. Okay, this is a recipe that I actually found in a magazine not too long ago, but I kind of tweaked it to make it my own. And I've made it a couple of times and I really love it, so I'm going to go ahead and get started with this. The first thing is that you need 3 sticks of butter. The recipe actually calls for 2 sticks and then a half a cup of shortening, but I'm going to use 3 sticks of butter. Then it calls for 3 cups of sugar, 6 eggs, 3 cups of flour, a half a teaspoon of baking powder, a 1/4 of a teaspoon of salt, a teaspoon of vanilla, and then I zested some lemons. So I zested 2 large lemons with my microplane here, and this is a great tool to have in the kitchen when you're zesting things because it makes the peel from the lemon very fine. So if you don't have a zester, a microplane, get you a microplane because it works very good as far as zesting things. And then I have a cup of milk, and I put 2 tablespoons of lemon juice in my cup of milk. Okay, and then I have my pan that has already been sprayed and dusted with flour, and that's to keep the cake from sticking. My oven is preheated at 325, and this cake is actually going to bake for an hour. Okay, so now that I've told you about all the ingredients, we're going to go ahead and get it all started. The first thing that you want to do is you want to add your butter to the bowl. So I'm going to go ahead and add all 3 sticks of this butter. And it's unsalted butter because, like I said before in other videos, we want to control the salt content. We don't want too much salt in our baked goods. So it's 3 sticks of unsalted butter, which is a 1.5 cups of butter. Then I'm going to add my sugar to the bowl. I'm going to add all this regular granulated sugar to the bowl. And what I'm going to do once I get all that in, I'm going to go ahead and start my mixer up, and I'm going to cream the butter and the sugar together. Watch the sugar cloud. Okay, so I start at a low speed so that I won't have sugar all over the place. And once it gets to going a little bit, I'm going to turn it up. Okay, and what we're doing here is that we're making sure that our butter and our sugar is fully incorporated with each other. They're marrying each other. They're getting to know each other. They're dating. Okay, and now once the butter and sugar is all completely creamed together, the next step that we're going to do is we're going to add our eggs. So as you can see how the butter has come together and the sugar has come together. When it comes to this point right here, this is a good point to stop. You don't want it to be crumbly, but you want them to be all together like almost, it looks like the consistency of a dough. But it's not dough, it's just butter and sugar creamed together. And it doesn't take long for that process. Okay, the next thing you're going to do is that you're going to add your eggs one at a time. So I'm going to add my eggs one at a time. Let's see. That's 1. Get that started. Get that broken up in there. Then I'm going to add the next one. That's 2. Here comes number 3. Okay. Then that's 4. Turn it up a little bit. 5. And the last one, 6. Okay, so far I have my butter, my sugar, and my eggs in here. And then I just let this go for a little bit. Early on, when I would bake early on, I would just put my eggs in there, and then once I saw that they were all broken up and incorporated in there, I would actually stop that process and wouldn't let it go any longer. But now I know that you're supposed to let your eggs be in there at least about 1 minute so that it can incorporate more air and make your cake a little lighter and fluffier. Excuse me. So we got that going. Smelling all lemony in here. I tell you, it's smelling good already. I just can't wait to get a bite of this cake. It's been a long time since I made this lemon cake, so I'm excited about making it. I may even send Pam a piece. Okay? So we're done with that. Now the next thing to do is that we're going to go ahead and add our vanilla and our lemon zest to the bowl. So let's lower this down. Add our vanilla. Get all that in there. And our lemon zest to the bowl. Now we're going to get that all incorporated in. Get that going, get that mixing really good. I'm telling you, it is smelling so good here. I love the smell. Citrus is my favorite flavor. Orange is actually my number one favorite, but lemon is right next to it. I really love citrus flavors. Pineapple, lemon, and orange are my favorite. Okay, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to scrape the bowl down, scrape the sides, and I'm going to scrape the bottom to make sure that there's no like lumps or bumps of sugar or butter at the bottom or on the sides. Because I don't like when I make a cake and you go to pour the batter out and then there's sugar at the bottom of your bowl or butter at the bottom of your bowl. I want to make sure all that is fully incorporated. So I'm going to scrape my paddle even here a little bit, as much as I can. Then the next thing I'm going to do, we're almost done. We're almost done. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and add my flour and my milk with the lemon juice. I'm going to add that alternatively. So I'm going to add about 1/3 of my flour, then half a cup of milk, the other 1/3 of flour, the last half cup of milk, and then the last 1/3 of flour. So I'm going to get started with that. Adding my flour in, about 1/3 of flour, and just remember that I have my salt and my baking powder in this flour as well. So it's not just flour, it's baking powder and salt in there as well. Okay, get that mixing. You don't want to this process right here, you don't want to over mix. You want to get it in there, you want to get it mixed a little bit to the point where you can't see any more dry ingredients, and then you want to turn it off. The reason why is because you'll end up having a very stiff batter, and you don't want that. So let's do half of our milk. Remember, there's lemon juice in here, so this is starting to curl up a little bit. Cuddle up a little bit. Curdle a little bit. So we're adding our milk just enough so it's incorporated in there. I'm going to go ahead and add another 1/3 of flour. Right? This is the second 1/3. Okay, get that in there. You don't want to turn this mixer up too high because you don't want flour all over your kitchen. So get that in there. Okay. Then your last half a cup of butter with your lemon juice in it. Okay. Get that going. Okay, and then you're going to add your last bit of flour to the pan, to the bowl. Last bit of flour. See how easy this process is? People think it's hard to bake a cake from scratch. It's not hard at all. The hardest part is getting all the ingredients together, but once you get all the ingredients together and you have them at your disposal right in front of you, it's easy to go ahead and just put it all in the bowl and get it going. Okay, so that's our last bit of flour. Move this pan over here, cake pan over here. We're going to use a bundt pan for this pound cake. Get that going. Okay, now I want to do one more last scrape. I want to do one more last scrape to make sure that I have everything fully incorporated, and once again that I don't have any ingredients stuck to the bottom of my bowl. So you want to make sure you really scrape the bottom of your bowl, getting up all that excess residue that may be have sunk to the bottom of the bowl, the butter, the sugar, any flour that may be down there. Get all that loosened from the bottom of your bowl. Okay. Boy, that batter looks good. Okay, now I'm going to give it one more quick mix. and that's it. That's it. Just to tell you a quick story, I used to bake cakes. And one time I came to Virginia for the holidays to bake a cake with my aunt asked me to help her bake cakes. And her cakes came out very flat. And the reason why is because she would put the cakes on the mixer and just let them go for like minutes and minutes at a time, like 5 minutes. And when I baked my cakes, they would come out very light and fluffy. And she asked me, why did your cakes come out all light and fluffy? And I said, because Auntie, you're over mixing your batter. Once you add all your dry ingredients to your wet ingredients, it only takes a few minutes, not even a few minutes, but a few seconds in the bowl. And then your cakes will be nice and fluffy. So she was making the mistake that a lot of people do. They end up over mixing their batter. And that causes your cakes to be flat, and they don't have that fluffiness and that moist looking and thickness that they should have. So I have my batter all here. And as you can see, this batter is very, very thick. Usually pound cake batter is very thick. So don't be alarmed because your pound cake batter is thick. Now I'm going to just take and scoop this in here. Try to get it as even as possible. And remember, your oven should be fully heated now. I preheated my oven at 325. And I did that before I even started mise en place, which means getting all my ingredients together. I did all that then. So by the time I got everything measured out and got everything mixed and all that stuff, the oven should be ready to go. That's the first thing you want to do. You want to get your oven preheated. Cakes are very temperamental. Okay. And sometimes I'll leave a little batter in here so that I can make like a little cake for a friend, or you know, bless someone with a little cupcake, a little pound cupcake. So that's what I think I'll do. I won't try to put all that in there. It's a lot of batter anyway. But I'll just save the rest of this batter and make a little cupcake for a little a teenager or a little child who did good on his report card, or somebody who I just wanted to say, hey, I love you. And here you go. So this is my cake. I'm going to shake the pan a little bit, and I'm going to tap it. Give it about 3 good taps. And that's it. Goes in the oven. It goes in the oven for an hour on 325 degrees Fahrenheit. And we're going to check it with toothpicks to make sure that it's done. And then I'll get back with you as soon as I pull it out of the oven and turn it over on a cooling rack to cool. The next time you see me, I will be getting ready to put the lemon glaze on top of the cake. All right, well, see you in about an hour. Bye. To OMG Cakes and Desserts. If I said I would be back in an hour, and actually it's been over an hour for me because I had to bake the cake and then I had to take it out and let it cool. So what I do is that I bake the cake for an hour, as I said. Then I use a toothpick to check it to see if it's done. And then I take it out of the pan. I take it out of the oven and leave it in the pan for 10 minutes. Then invert it out of the pan and then let it cool until it's completely cool. And so what I've done here for the glaze is I just took some simple lemon juice, some powdered sugar, mix it together, and then I just take once it's together, and then I just spoon the glaze over top of the cake. And that's what I've done over here on this side. I've just spooned the glaze on top of the cake, and that's it. And then you just serve it. So that's it. If you have any questions, you can post your questions on my blog at www.omg-cakes-desserts68.com. Thank you, and I hope you enjoyed this video. God bless you. Love you. Bye.